Good afternoon. It's November 14th, 2022, and I'm getting started a little early today. It's 12:04 right now. There hasn't been much action, so I just figured I'd start off early. I feel like in this last hour we're probably going to get some movement, but up until now it's been pretty dull. I have the lows marked down here and the highs marked up here. You can see the midline seems to fit that way. Not a whole lot of trades. You had to be aggressive if you wanted to enter. So we'll take a look at these. I think 5 o'clock comes in right in here, just about, yeah, right here. So there's a failure right here, but that happens at 4. So you're not in there, and then you get this higher low, and it's clearly a range. So you're not really trying to play this trend channel anyway. Unless you get a really good setup off of it, and you get a failure, but it's above the EMA, so it's a failed second entry long above the EMA, and you just can't take any of this. And then around the opening, we form this range, and you get a breakout that's also a second entry, so maybe you take that. But really you're going to want to wait on a higher low. Then we get this first entry, failed second entry long. It's below the EMA. It looks like a failed break below this range. So I like this one to test like this low, or at least test the opening price. You can see a bunch of other people like this too, but we come down to these overnight lows and bounce, and it's just so congested right here. You don't want to take anything. This looks like a second entry, but it's right at the overnight highs and lows. It's actually at the overnight highs. I meant to say midline, but yeah, you're going into the highs right there, so it's probably not a good trade to take. But when we break out higher, you get this failure right here. You can see it looks like they might have trapped people right here, because some people might have taken this as a failure. I don't know if it broke lower first, but then you get a second entry right here, and that looks pretty good, but it doesn't touch the EMA. But it is in the trend line, but it's pretty clear that we're ranging. And so you got to be really careful with that. Signal bar is not great. We come up, we make this high, and then we just start moving back and forth. So perhaps this was the break, and you get a couple legs up to a new high. Then we get some just ranging. And there's just no good way to enter that. Maybe you take this second entry, but that would be very aggressive. It's far from the EMA. First entry, second entry. But you do get a first entry, failed second entry long right here. And I mean, it looks good after the fact, but in real time, this is very congested, and that's a range. So not a great setup. Perhaps you drew your trend line like that. That does turn out to be what looks like the trend line, but in real time, that'd be very hard to trust your gut on that. So anyway, we get this overshoot. It leads to a break, and they're just congestion. First entry, second entry. And so since today's been so, it hasn't been giving you good opportunities, maybe you take this one, but it's not a new low. So that's congestive. I don't like it. This looks like a double top. Really, this looks like a first entry, second entry right here, and then we get a higher low. So in real time, I like this to test these highs, because we just had a break of this channel. And then I was thinking of marking this like it's a failure, but just not in the context. you're going into all this resistance. It looks like it's a range, all these inside bars, and comes down, tests the midline again, and bounces. And we've been trending up. Or, well, no, we haven't. We broke higher, and now it looks like we're just chopping around again. So this trend channel, we get a slight overshoot, leads to a break. This one, I was watching this in real time, and that was tempting, but that's aggressive. You don't know if it could keep going higher. And these up here, man, that's very tempting. But there's not enough room back to the EMA is the problem. 1450 to, yeah, you only have 2 ticks back to the EMA. So not sure about that here. I would say this is a good one right here. But again, it's congested, but you'd have to also go on the engulfing bar. You can't go low down there or short down there. And yeah, I just don't like any of this. So we'll see. I mean, maybe there's more in store for us over the next hour, but this is what I saw up until now. So hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back tomorrow.